You know, politics back in Washington does not matter much to these men. Their lives are on the line, but things get more complicated back in D.C. as it relates to Afghanistan. There has been noticeable friction over the past few days after a leading request that was leaked from General Stanley McChrystal for as many as 40,000 additional troops to join the battle in Afghanistan within the next 12 months. Last Thursday, during a speech in London, General McChrystal appeared to criticize White House policy, and there's been this steady drip from the administration, including this from the Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, just yesterday. Listen carefully.
It is imperative that all of us taking part in these deliberations, civilians and military alike, provide our best advice to the President candidly but privately. And speaking for the Department of Defense, once the Commander-in-Chief makes his decisions, we will salute and execute those decisions faithfully and to the best of our ability.
But privately. Texas Congressman William Mac Thornberry is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. My guest now. Sir, good morning to you. I heard Senator Jim Webb from Democratic Senator from Virginia talk about the appearance on 60 Minutes a few weeks ago, then the speech last Thursday in London, and the question and answer that followed. It just appears that they're loading up on McChrystal. Are they, in order to keep him, I guess, in a corner publicly?
Well, I worry about that. You know, General McChrystal was announced with great fanfare as the best man for the job, and I think he is the best man for the job. But then, when he was asked to make an assessment, they seem to want to keep that quiet and not tolerate any discussion about the very real choices before us. You know, it was a very different thing when General Petraeus came to talk about the choices in Iraq. There was big public hearings before Congress. Questions were asked and answered, and that's the way the public can better understand what's at stake. Trying to squelch any general's opinion, any commander's opinion in something this important, I think, is a mistake.
We can understand certainly his angst. I mean, he's responsible for the lives of 68,000 Americans, with their lives literally on the line every day in Afghanistan today, and tens of thousands more of NATO troops. The other side would come out and argue, listen, there's a chain of command, and General McChrystal has to follow that. Can you understand that?
Sure. It is a chain of command. The President will decide, but General McChrystal's responsibility is to say, okay, if you want me to accomplish this mission, this is what it will take to accomplish that mission. And the President can say yes or no, or he can make some other adjustment. I mean, what I hope does not happen is that the President makes some sort of compromise in between where the mission stays the same and yet General McChrystal and his troops have their hands tied behind their back. I think that's the worst of both worlds if that were to happen.
Well, we're going to see exactly what comes out of this White House meeting at mid-afternoon today, because bipartisan members of the House and the Senate meeting with the White House today. Senator McCain said earlier today that give him the 40,000 troops, just do it, because he believes that within 18 months Afghanistan can be secure. It's a tall order. Is that possible?
Well, I tell you what, I put my confidence in the best military minds we have in this country, and I would say General McChrystal is at the top of that list. Remember, what he asked for is not just numbers of troops, but a different strategy. So he needs to be backed up all the way if we're going to continue with this as our mission in Afghanistan.
To be clear on that strategy, just to be clear so our viewers know, it's not necessarily like they did throughout Baghdad and Anbar province, where they set up an outpost in different areas of Iraq, get to know the locals, bring them into their cause, and then find out who the bad guys are, then go out and get them. Now, that policy has been pursued in Afghanistan, but I think what McChrystal is suggesting is maybe put that to the side for now and work on the population centers and keep the Afghan people safe. Do you think that's the right course?
Well, I think any classical counterinsurgency strategy focuses on the population first. And I think that's what General McChrystal is advocating. Protect the population first, and then you can move out from there. But that's not a risk-free strategy. We will have some casualties because of that. But the point is, you can't just nickel and dime away a strategy that a general wants to implement. You need to go all the way. Let him implement a strategy with the troops he requested, or take a very different turn and withdraw from Afghanistan totally. I think that'd be a terrible mistake. But the worst is to go halfway.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line, sir, and thank you for your time today. We're watching that quite closely from the White House. It's a big decision and a big deal for the future of this country and the war on terror. Thank you, sir.
It is. Thank you.